As I kick off this video series trying to draw attention, as feebly as it may seem, to the problems that I've encountered while working at the Monroe County DCS, Department of Child Services, a few things are kind of striking me at once. One, this isn't like very sexy stuff. Like DCS and like child welfare, I know like historically it's supposed to carry like all this baggage and heavy connotation and drama, but it's like I'm not. This isn't fun. Like this is a job unto itself, trying to regard what you're doing in terms that are both translatable but accountable, factual, just very like you got to take all of the craziness out of it so that you can actually move somewhere. So, like, I'm not looking for comments, like just empty comments on videos and likes and dislikes. It's not about all that kind of bullshit. If you're interested in child welfare, if you've got a personal story, it's by default going to become interesting, in a sense. And it's just unfortunate that we live in times where so many things are concurrently on fire that here is one more thing I'm asking you to pay attention to, like you give a fuck about some county in Indiana and their child welfare system. But then that brings me to the next thing that kind of strikes me is that this is one small piece of our whole environment. I don't care what worlds you occupy, you need to have these same kind of dynamics, these same kind of discussions, the same ability to make all of your insecurities and tiredness and whatever else you're doing boring. You need to be able to talk about it in matter-of-fact terms. You need to be able to hold people accountable, bring consequences, do something proactive to show you that it is possible to not just be stuck in a fearful rut of bullshit around all of your other compatriots going down with whatever ship you happen to be on at the time. So, I kind of wanted to just talk in segments, I guess, of how to go about this. There'll be incidents that strike me in just my daily work that will be like, oh, that was kind of fucked up, or I'll have heard a story from somebody that it's like it's hard to really believe because you feel like this stuff has to be made up sometimes when you hear about like fabricated evidence or removing kids from like perfectly healthy foster homes because some jilted visit supervisor like picked that child and now we're going to go and construe a story to take that child specifically as opposed to just adopting like broadly. It gets weird. But maybe you know nothing about DCS. Maybe all you have is the horror stories you've heard from 20 years ago or something. Like, what do we do? DCS is stated mission is about like being advocates for children, ensuring that they are happy or healthy. I forget the exact motto, but just ensuring that children are safe and not in a dangerous situation. And there are as many opinions about how to do that as there are people that work in the agency, but they generally fall into two tracks. There's I want to collect the evidence, and there's I want to make the case against you. And depending on how aware you are of which way you lean or not, you can either do a really good job getting people to disclose things, actually collecting the evidence and working with people, or you can do a really good job painting them to look like fucking monsters and ensuring that there are as many emotional and physical barriers between parents and their children as you can help contribute towards. So if you're doing your job right, in my opinion, you get your report, you go out, you ask people to explain to you why the report says what it says. You're not there to point fingers. You're not there to immediately criminalize someone. You're there to have a conversation. You talk to the kids. You ask everyone specific questions. You observe that their home is fine, that the kids are healthy, that they've got documentation to support things like whether or not the kid's been to the doctor, because the report says that the kid's not going to the doctor when they need to. And then you get the fuck out of their life. Like, that's to me was the job. If somebody tells you, yep, I am addicted, I've got these issues, or, oh, never mind the needle, or kid says mommy's X, Y, and Z, a lot of concerning behaviors and sayings, or whatever the hell else, You keep following up. You go back. You talk with the school social workers. You talk with the teachers. You talk with family members. You find the context to round out the things of concern. And then, in a perfect world, you would refer them to a service provider who can maybe engage in therapy, maybe engage in detoxing things, maybe engage in finding other resources pertaining to their specific needs. I don't know how often that really happens for as many referrals as I've made, but that's what the ideal system is supposed to look like. So, if you know nothing about DCS and somebody comes to your door and says, "We've got a report and you're a neglectful parent," or "I know you hit this kid in the face," or some crazy shit that, like, I struggle to even, like, mime or kind of, like, mimic, because, like, who the fuck talks like that? But apparently some of our assessors some of the time. I don't know how anyone who works for the agency believes that that's supposed to, like, work. I don't get how they think they're supposed to have people on their side. I don't get how you could be so socially unaware or so, like, personally damaged that you think it's, like, your job to bring people to heal versus, like, contribute to their healing. But yeah, if you know nothing about DCS, if you know nothing about me, like, I get it. It's not sexy. I'm not making fancy, fun videos. I just want attention. I want to use this as a means for somebody with more power, more access, whatever than I, to not allow fucking people to fall through the cracks. Like, there is a number of people that any assessor is going to see throughout the year. There is a number of drug addiction cases that we have. There are a number of homes that might need attention, and we should account for every single person in that number. And we don't because we refuse to get a little bit better organized, because we don't communicate more clearly, because we communicate often. The whole meetings endlessly and go nowhere until topics just get squeezed to death. And that's fucked up. I don't know. If the only appeal is just to endlessly talk, well, I'm going to endlessly talk about the issues that I experienced, about that I hear, that I wish would get better, that I feel are a decision away. Like, 10 fucking seconds, you could behave better. So, that's what this series will be. Weird pauses, mild rambles. Hopefully, I'll learn how to master video editing software or something. And hopefully someone will watch this who can do something. Because obviously I couldn't, so that's why I'm on YouTube.